All right, so now we are going to talk about professional learning networks. I'm sure that all of you have heard about professional learning networks or professional learning communities before. These are groups that can really help us to provide support both now as student teachers as well as in the future. And so we want to start helping you think about your professional development journey right now before you ever graduate. So that you have some of these supports in place when you move into your first teaching position. So in this module or this presentation, we're going to talk a little bit about professional learning networks or PLNs, what they are, why we need them. We'll cover a few benefits and barriers, and then we'll also talk about strategies, resources, and so on. I'm not sure why these page numbers are here because they absolutely do not align. So I apologize for that. In terms of professional learning networks, a PLN is a group of people who are professionals typically, who support each other, who are open to asking questions and learning from others, who seek out support from others. It can be related to a specific topic. It can be just something that a group that you want to be a part of to see who else is asking questions about different topics. These can be networks that are within your school. They can be online. They can be in person. They can be with different people around the world. They can be through webinars, social media. So really professional learning networks can be a lot of different things. And so that's something that sometimes is overwhelming when we're first starting to think about the types of supports that we might want as a teacher once we begin our teaching career. Some of you may be drawn more to having that more in-person, person-to-person contact in the beginning, and then branch out a little bit more to find other people who may have different ideas or strategies related to questions that you might have that you can find online or in different places, different even parts of the world. While others of you might find more security in that anonymity of asking people that you have no idea who they are for support versus people who are in the classroom next door. So it's really, really an individualized support. And it's intended to be that way. And you may eventually be a part of multiple professional learning networks. But right now in this course, we're going to start thinking about how you can connect with other people in this class to start to begin to develop a network of people who have similar interest, who are seeking questions, you're all in student teaching, so you're having similar experiences, but probably also have very unique things that you have questions about or are considering that maybe others aren't, and that's okay too. So why do you need a professional learning network? The primary reason is for support, all right? Becoming a new teacher can be, again, very daunting and overwhelming. And it's great to have a group of people, whether again it's in person or virtually, who are there to support you, who are there to answer questions that you might have, or just to be a cheerleader and say, I know this is going to be a tough day for you for whatever reason. You are smart, you know what you're doing. This is going to be amazing. And sometimes you just need that extra support. And sometimes you get that from people within your professional learning network. Other reasons is just to really stay on top of things related to current evidence-based practices. You all have been in school for the past, most of you, 3.5 years or more. College, that is. You've been in school for much longer. And so you've learned all through college about what's going on in the world of early childhood education. What are best practices? What does research say is best when it comes to, say, teaching kids how to read or writing strategies or math strategies? So you've been actively learning and involved in those conversations and a part of those communities for the past several years. But when you leave ISU and you enter into a school, you are largely in charge of your own professional learning and development. Everyone will create, in most schools, will create a professional development plan, and that sort of guides the types of professional development activities that you participate in. And so it can be easy to lose touch with what's happening in the world of early childhood. What is the greatest, the newest thing that's out there? And so being a part of a professional learning network can really help you stay connected. Like I've already pointed this out, building relationships and community with others who are like you, who have similar interests and similar backgrounds, maybe similar questions about things. And it's also really nice to be able to share ideas with other people. You don't always have to be the one who's seeking out information, but just like I was talking about in the first presentation about creating professional learning modules, it's nice to be able to share your experiences and things that you have found to be useful with others as well. And then it's also great to find out or to think about things that you want to use to support your students' learning. Ultimately, we're teachers because we're here for our students and we want our students to have great experiences. We want to be teaching them in the best way possible. And so professional learning networks can really help us to think about the best ways to support our students, but also share things that we found work best for us with others as well. So this is a little chart that says 10 reasons why every teacher needs a PLN. One is to find great resources, lesson plans, conferences. Two, share your resources and ideas. Three, follow amazing educators and blogs. Four, get support when needed. Five, make international connections. Six, flatten your classroom walls. So thinking about trying new things, in other words. Seven, collaborate globally on projects. Eight, find round-the-clock inspiration so you can access these at any time. Nine, learn the latest trends in education. And 10, never ever run out of new ideas or things to try with your students. We're going to watch this video together. I hope the sound comes through okay. If not, you can just pause, skip this part, and watch this on your own through the presentation. But this is just giving you a little bit of ideas, different ways or ideas that you might be able to use professional learning networks in your professional career in the future. All right. So hopefully you got some things to think about there, about different ways that we can participate in professional learning networks within our own school, like the teacher Jesus who was talking about how, they were able to go and observe in other classrooms, but also how you can use social media, Twitter, and other um, platforms to learn more and to seek out supports in a variety of ways. So, when we think about strategies for developing professional learning networks or entering into a professional learning network, it's important for us to think about looking for supports that are something that we really are interested in, right? So if I'm really wanting to learn more about classroom management strategies, I want to seek out supports related to that and different platforms and networks that might help me do that. If I want to learn more about supporting dual language learners, maybe I need to seek out a network related to that. There are more broad networks, of course, as well, that have a lot of different topics that are covered. And what's important, though, and I'm going to share some resources in the end where you can find some of these different networks. But what is important is for us to think about the importance of getting connected and really finding that support through these networks, listening, reading, learning, doing research on our own, sometimes becoming an expert on a specific topic, taking action, like putting those ideas into practice, sharing our ideas with others, um, as well as really being open to learning and reflecting on our own practices and making changes when we see that there's something that may not be working as well as it could be, or we get an idea from someone else that we really want to try out because it's worked well for them. So when we think about starting from from a place where we want to create a professional development plan, it's important for us to think about some of these types of questions, like what types of things are you hoping to achieve? What things do I feel like I'm already good at? What skills do I already have? What do I feel like I still need to learn about this topic? Like, why is this topic even important to me? What do I know about my students related to this topic? And how can I better connect with or support my students around this topic or in general. All right. So these are some things for us to start thinking about as we're beginning to put together a professional development plan. And you may have, spoiler alert, figured out that that's one of the things that we're going to do. So this is a form that you can this is from a website. You can download this. I will put a template for this in to Canvas so that you can download this and work from this. You can print it, you can write on it, upload it, type on it, whatever works best for you. So what I want you to do is think about one, maybe two goals for your own professional development that you hope to achieve this semester during student teaching. So something that you feel like you really want to hone in on and get better at. Again, maybe it's something related to classroom management. Maybe you're really super nervous about leading guided reading groups because you've never done that before. Maybe you're nervous about teaching math because you didn't feel like you were super strong at math. Maybe you're a little bit worried about addressing issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion because you're just not sure about introducing sensitive topics with students in the classroom. Those are just some things I'm throwing out there. So thinking about whatever topics you feel like you want to address, it's completely fine if you just start with one because you're just getting started with student teaching, and then develop another one later in the semester as you get to know your students in your school and your own strengths and weaknesses a little bit better. So as I said, you can click on this form. It will take you to the website. This is a website that someone has created. I just did a Google search and I found this. I'm not in any way saying you should pay for this company's online workshops. I found a lot of different things on here that were free, and I thought it was a nice introduction to thinking about developing or creating a professional development plan. So this gives a little bit of background about professional development plans, thinking about what you need to do to start with developing one, assessing your current skills, thinking about areas for growth, setting goals, the SMART, that specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Goals, creating a plan for implementing that goal, and then checking in to see if you have been able to achieve those goals or not. So take a read through this website. Think about working your way through these different steps. Okay. The self-assessment, we just talked about that. You might want to ask your colleagues or your cooperating teacher for feedback on specific things that you might be concerned about or that you really want to learn about. You will be getting formal evaluations from your student teaching supervisor, so you can also ask for feedback from them as well. Okay, so once you have set your goals, so this is again thinking about your goals, you will record those onto another document, which I will also attach. This is an example that's completed. Sorry, let me make this a little bit bigger so you can fully see it better. Think about in your plan, what is it that you really are interested in achieving? So what specific goals, let me go back up here. What specific goals or things are you interested in learning more about? So for this person, again, this is tiny. Let me get a little bigger. They were interested in learning about curriculum planning, teaching reading. Most specifically, they wanted to think about differentiated instruction. Their district had just started using the science of reading. There's a lot of controversy out there related to that, as you probably know. And so it's like, I kind of need to learn what this is all about so that I can figure out the best way to teach my students using the specific strategies. So these are kind of these questions, or these answers to these questions then turn into these goals. So thinking about these things, this teacher wants to use a 4-step mini lesson process to deliver reading comprehension instruction, to think about mastery of reading comprehension skills. He or she will know that this is attained when students are able to use these strategies with 80% mastery. The goal is achievable with the resources and times that are available, and so on. All right. So these things then turn into, what is it that I really need to learn about? I need to do these things. I'm going to read this article. I'm going to attend this web professional development and attend this CompCon, whatever that is. So this is what I'm going to do to learn more about attaining these goals. All right. What specific practices am I going to learn and use? So in this case, gradual release model utilizing 4-step mini method or mini lesson process. What resources do I need? Who do I need to collaborate with? And where might I go for feedback and data to be able to tell if this is really working or not? Okay, so step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Yep, I achieved that goal. The dates that I'm going to try to set for myself to achieve these goals, and then check-ins to see if I actually was able to achieve that goal or not. Okay, so I don't want you to get so incredibly stressed about putting this together. I know this is very early in your student teaching experience, and so I know that there may be things that you're just not sure of what you want to do yet, or things that you want to achieve, but try to think of some goals and just put together an outline or a framework for what it is that you hope to learn as a result. Okay, my screen is now frozen, it appears. Just really annoying. Oh, exit drawing. I was in drawing, that would be why. And so this is one that's completed, just as an example. You'll see down here in step 3, you actually have a template where you can create this on your own. I will upload this as well into Canvas. You can download it from the website as well, but you can, like I said, you can print it, you can download it and type on it, whatever you prefer. And then once you have created this for yourself, you will submit this into, oh, here we are. I'm skipping ahead here. You will submit this in Canvas, and we'll revisit this throughout the semester to see how you're doing, to see if you want to make adjustments to your plan, if you want to set new goals, if you feel like you've attained these or you want to readjust a little bit. You always are able to seek support, ask questions. That can be of me, your cooperating teacher, your supervisor. If you want to share this with your cooperating teacher or your supervisor, that would be great, but you do not have to. This is something you're developing for this class, but obviously pertains to your experience as a whole. We will, again, like I said, revisit this formally at midterm and at the end of the semester, but we'll do regular check-ins related to your professional learning plan or professional development plan as well. Lastly, I would encourage you to remember that this is a marathon. It is not a race. You will be doing ongoing professional development as long as you are a professional in this field. And so nobody expects you to know every single thing about being an awesome early childhood educator from day one. You're going to learn so much this semester in student teaching, more than you ever thought you could imagine learning, but you still, even at the end, will have more to learn, and that's okay. So keep those things in mind as you move into your student teaching experience. Remember that you are surrounded by experts every single day. Sometimes we as educators forget that. We're surrounded by other teachers who are experts. We're surrounded by people who have a wealth of knowledge and experience. And we're also surrounded by our students who are experts as well, but in their own way. So keep those things in mind as you move through these first few weeks of your student teaching experience. There are a whole bunch of different resources here that you can access related to professional learning networks and professional learning plans or professional development plans. So take a look at these different resources and references. And oops, I'm almost about out of time here. And also remember to complete your reflection, complete your discussion, and your professional development plan, and submit those things in Canvas. Have a great, great, great week, and I will talk with you next week.